Hi again. I'm going to have a quick chat there. Basically, tell you what it's like to be an addict. Basically, the title is going to be "What is life like as an addict?" An alcoholic, whatever you want to call it. My addiction was drink, alcohol. It started when I was about 15, quite a normal way, I suppose. When we're all sort of changing from childhood and adolescence and experimenting with different things, all that sort of thing. And me and my mates, as you do, started to dabble a little bit with alcohol. I was a bit of an anxious sort of child. A couple of bullying experiences I had to deal with. But I found my feet when I started playing a band, actually. And I played bass guitar in a band. I got pretty good, to be fair. So we started to do a few gigs, this sort of thing. And I was always a bit nervous, a bit anxious about playing the band, going on stage and that sort of thing. So I thought, well, I started having a few drinks and it became a bit sort of normal, really. And we used to practice during the week on a Saturday, have a few cans of beer then, and go to the pub on a weekend evening. And I was sort of bored with life. I lived in the northeast of England then, and it was pretty quiet, to be honest, the village I lived in. I was never really content, and the alcohol gave me a buzz, really, and I felt a little bit better with it all. Life seemed to improve, really. But it very quickly crept up on me that I was drinking a bit too much. However, I was young and fit at the time, and I managed to function pretty well. In the end, I joined the police force in London, and I was drinking a bit more. But I knew when I had this alcohol with me, I always thought, well, I've got used to it now. I'm always going to drink because I enjoyed it, and I thought, well, this is my life, really. But then it starts to take over you, and it becomes quite normal to drink and drink to excess, really, sometimes at some point in your life. And then when it gets to the point where you're really sort of tired of it, you're so normalized to drinking that it becomes quite a terrifying prospect to stop. That makes sense. And I knew that to stop was such a massive thing in my life that I was going to have some problems. So basically, when I was an addict, I mean, I still am. I'm classed as a recovering addict now, which is good. When you do eventually stop, you've got to think, well, you've got to replace that behaviour of drinking with something else. My mind was basically health and fitness and nutrition, and just getting myself back to world class as a normal human being, not dependent. Because when you're dependent, your whole life is taken over by whatever addiction you've got, whether it's heroin, cocaine, alcohol, they're all similar. So you're trapped as well. You feel very trapped, you feel very lonely. It's a desperate place being an addict, but it can happen to anybody. I've just been reading some more general note figures about deprived areas where you're more likely to become an addict. But I think personally for me, it was something that was missing in my life when I was young. And most of the people I've known who've had alcohol problems have had some sort of issue when they're young. I'm not saying trauma, but they maybe wanted a bit more, maybe didn't have support in the right areas, and the alcohol filled this sort of gap. It's in your psyche to drink or to take drugs, and you become dependent on it very, very quickly. And it's hard to break that cycle. But that's covered in a few other videos. I've got a lot of more information to post on here. But that's just a little bit about being a drug addict. You feel very, very alone at times. And initially it replaces the boredom, the not being content. I mean, some people can have a drink and have a lot of fun out of it, but for an addict, you can't have fun with your drug of choice, so to say. It's an illness and it has to be dealt with. So I'm here to help. And if I can do anything for you, then please get in touch with me. If you enjoy the channel, please subscribe and like and share. And drop me any comments in the comments box. I hope to see you all very soon.